Hello again, my name is Dr. Bill Johnson. I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Exploring Our Schools. Today we're going to do something on exploring DECA, which I am really excited about. We have just recently really kind of reinvested a lot of our time and effort into reawakening our commitment to business, and this is the real first opportunity for me to kind of explore it with some of the newest students. Not so new actually to the program, but new for us, since it was, I wouldn't say abandoned for many years, but it was somewhat forgotten until we put in place our IB program on business. So we have some really wonderful people who are with us today. Peter English, who really has been instrumental in getting this off the ground, although somewhat new to Southside. He's not new to DECA. And we knew that when we brought you in here, Peter. Right. Thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Joining the faculty and, in fact, getting all of this off the ground.
It's a pleasure.
So we also have three students, two who are juniors and one who are senior. Savesh Mohan, thank you very much for coming. All right. Joseph McNair, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And James Hexstein. So the three of them will get into some of the what it's like to be involved in the competition and the coursework. But if you could just kind of talk a little bit about DECA. What is DECA?
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty common question. DECA is a competitive business club. There's over 200,000 students worldwide who actually participate in the club. What happens is the curriculum from business curriculums across the country, students will take what they've learned, be presented a role play, and they'll have to answer that role play based on what they've learned and in whatever category that they choose or have interest in.
Do you connect it to the curriculum? I mean, do they intersect?
Oh, absolutely.
How?
Yeah,
How is
it's
that?
aligned nationally with a national business standard, so it really touches and meets a lot of what we discuss in class. So if we're discussing, let's say, distribution unit in class, I can pull a case study and I tailor it to what exactly we're doing in class. Just, I can touch it up a little bit, then I'll present it to the students so they do have some familiarity with the concepts, and then they come up with the answer. So really a lot of the practice is almost in class as well.
So you can answer the next. Why do we have three students with us today?
Wow. So
dressed.
Yeah. So these
Like
guys.
True business people.
These
That's
are
right.
the guys that represented us nationally. These three went through 3 levels of competition. At the regional level, which was at Freeport High School this winter, and they qualified for the state competition along with 31 other students from Southside, which was a big year for us. And then these three qualified and did so well at states that they were able to qualify and participate and compete at the national level in Atlanta, Georgia this April. So that was a wonderful trip and exciting time for our program and these students.
So tell me a little bit about the competition. I don't know who wants to start, but why don't we start with the senior? We'll work our way backwards, all right?
All right, yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
So basically, the competition's broken up into different clusters. So there might be clusters in a marketing sector, or it might be in finance or accounting. And so based on maybe your interests, you might want to go into a specific, cluster. So
Do you make the decision?
Yes,
about
you're able to make
You're not
the decision.
assigned?
No,
somebody. Okay.
assuming there's a certain room in, we like to, manage, make sure we have exactly the right amount of spots for everyone in our chapter. So you're able to choose like what you'd like to go into. And so personally, I went to apparel accessories marketing. So, I had to study kind of like the marketing area and kind of just focus on that. So what happens is you'd get a role play, and the role play would be a page long, like a business scenario basically. And you're supposed to take on that role as that leader of the company, and you're supposed to propose these new ideas and these issues that are in the company and present it to a judge within.
So you're not in there as a team necessarily. Each of you select your own particular area of expertise. Whoa. So then you're on your own.
Yeah, you can go individual, or there's also team clusters, which are usually 2 teammate or 1 and 2 people that can collaborate together and work together with to present to a judge.
So what happens when you say present to a judge? Is it a judge, or is it a series of judges, a panel?
There's most of the time, I'd say like about 90% of the time, there is 1 judge that you present to, but sometimes you will get 2 judges, and actually the first role play I ever had was 2 judges. So yeah, so you never know what you'll get, pretty much.
Can be unnerving.
Yes.
Right. Savesh, how about you? What did,
For me, throughout the DECA competition, I chose the automotive cluster. So we all did marketing as the major cluster, but then it's fine-tuned into like a narrow area. So like Joe did his apparel and accessories. I did automotive. So without automotive, competing on international levels, one of my role play scenarios was, right now the current trend is pets rather than children. New millennials are preferring to have dogs and cats rather than having children, as it's easier, especially living in urban areas. So my role play was create a car for an automotive company known as John Motors, so a made-up company, and how to implement a car that was specialized towards pet owners rather than children, because most cars have seats in the middle. So pretty much throughout DECA, it's about open-mindedness and creativity, and it's not something that's planned in advance. So when we go to the competition, especially in Atlanta, Georgia, we walk into a convention center, you walk in, you go to your line, you wait there for your role play time, and as soon as you go in, there's about 10 of you under different groups, all competing from different parts of the nation. And when you get there, you receive a piece of paper, you sit down. When you flip that paper over, you see your exact role play. So for my role play 1, I got create a pet owner car, pretty much. So you have 10 minutes to prep for that, timed, and then after that, you get up, you walk to the back, you have a closed room, you participate with the judge. For that role play, for the first time ever, and that was my last role play I competed in, I had 2 judges for that, so it was very interesting. And coming back to the open-mindedness of DECA, you're pretty much expected to come up with something on the spot, because DECA pretty much prepares you for the real world coming up if you choose to participate in business. So for me, I said the car can have a specialized seats in the back made for dogs rather than cages. You want it to
what
be
size?
size of dogs. That's a good one.
Customized.
Yeah,
Okay,
customize
wait a
it.
minute.
That's another
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fascinating. So they weren't concerned about what kind of car, whether it was electric or
No, it was mainly about
gasoline
the
powered?
customizability of the car. It's pretty much you want it to meet the customer's needs, so you want it to be customizable. So if you have a Chihuahua or a big German Shepherd, you want it to fit everyone. And that's something you need to come up with on the spot so you're prepared for any given situation.
So, how'd you do?
I did pretty good. At DECA Internationals, I got a medal for that role play.
Right.
The other 2, there was a very excruciating and rigorous event. So for that event, I got top 1 for my group, so that was Group B. So I got a medal for that, which I was glad to for my first year competing on a national level.
Oh, so they do this very smartly. You know what, before I get into that, though, James, what'd you do?
Well, I was actually in the Principles of Marketing cluster, or the event, the cluster was marketing. And that was a first-year event, so, I mean, I haven't really been in the club that long. I'd say, like, I'm the most inexperienced of everybody here, but, like, Mr. English especially has been really helpful in, like, preparing me for my role play and, like, understanding the club. And, I mean, Savesh couldn't have said it any better, that it really prepares you for, like, the future in the business world. And obviously, all of us being Ivy students in business and wanting to go into business in the future, I mean, it's just really something that really helps you. So, like, when I went to nationals, it was really fresh in my mind to remember the role play that I did. And there was actually 2 judges, so like you said, really, really unnerving. I didn't know what I was expecting going in there. Completely different field in states and regionals. It's, I mean, not just the U.S., across the U.S., but you got people from Canada there. They're studying hard. They're really, really experienced. And I'm coming in here first year, and I didn't know what to expect, but it was a really amazing time. And I took over the role of marketing associate at a flower industry who was experiencing kind of infrequent sales. And I decided to institute like a loyalty card program to, you know, kind of bring customers back in on a frequent basis and reward them for being loyal customers. So, I mean, that's
Great
just
idea.
like, yeah, it's just, thank you. One example of like there's 55 different events. There's people from all over the country, outside of the country. And I mean, I met some really amazing people and learned some really amazing stuff, and I was really grateful to go on the trip.
See, I guess a couple of things that I just wanted to follow up with. One is that they give medals, they just don't declare a winner.
Right, yes.
In other words, what they're doing is they're examining what you're doing and saying, wow, that's really worth of some kind of an award, period, whether or not you are better than somebody else. It's really just
Yeah, no,
worth
that's it.
being considered.
Yep, they highlight it through what they call it's a mini award, so they give different awards within the event. So if you have a top role play, they have 2 of those, and then a top testing, and they really do highlight as throughout the event, not just that one grand award winner.
Great
but-
business model, as a
Yeah,
matter of
it
fact.
does, it's
Right.
great, yeah. They do a nice job with that.
That's the way to get people to come back.
Exactly.
Right? The more
I
people
think
they
that
get.
motivated Savesh, and like, okay, I'm right on the cusp. Now I can take that next step. So
Right. Yeah, but you kind of alluded to it and you said it directly, but the people you meet from all over the world, it really is an international
that's
competition,
it.
right?
That's it. Yep. There's like 8 other countries that are represented: Germany, China, Spain. So it's in Canada is a big one, and they're very good. But
Now,
it's
the lingua
wonderful.
business is pretty much English, right? So
Yes.
it
Everyone
is
has
a
to do it.
requirement. Does
Yes.
do everyone in?
Everyone who competes has to do it in
They have to do it
so
in
you-
English.
mhm.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the language of
Right.
business, is it
Yep.
not?
Yep.
Worldwide. So, at any rate, so you get to know a lot of these.
Yeah, pretty
They
much.
share the same experience with you?
Yeah, because sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off.
yeah, so pretty much throughout the whole competition, most competitions like science fairs and other competitions, when you go to a national level, it's the top person for like a section, so it's not too many people competing on the national level. DECA International is a complete change. There was 20,000 kids there.
Whew.
So yeah, it was every time you advanced in the competition from regionals to states, it wasn't really smaller, it just kept growing and growing because you compete on a national level. So imagining competing against 20,000 kids, so each section about 200 to 300 kids per section. And the greatest part of that experience was we got to sit inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome where the upcoming Super Bowl is. So it was an extravagant experience for out.
Yeah, we were on the field,
Yeah,
so it's
we
pretty
had
awesome.
field level, we could walk
Yeah.
on it. So
wow.
imagining that the players will be there coming up soon and that we were there for a business event, especially as a junior, it's a great experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to mention, last year I actually went to the national competition in Anaheim. And so I was a junior last year, and for these guys now, applying to colleges, I think it really benefits you. And it's something I really wanted to stress on my applications and stuff and my resume. And so last year I went, and it was just me in English, actually. I was the only one last year. And it was a great experience again, but, going with these two guys and just showing them the roots of, what happens, what we do, and what it's really like to be at these competitions was really awesome. And I actually met a few people that I'm going to be going to college with next year, and it was just an
Oh, isn't
amazing
that nice?
experience.
So where are you headed next
I'm
year?
going to Babson College up in
Up in Boston?
yes,
Oh, wow.
for
That's a
entrepreneurship. So
Great business school.
yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
Wow.
appreciate it.
Great choice.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's good.
appreciate it.
So, I just want to connect it. I started talking a little bit about the connection between this and the curriculum. Do you find that the IB courses that you're involved in actually prepares you well, either for the competition, or you think it's going to prepare you well for Babson and the college program that you're going to be in?
I'd say 100%. I really enjoy IB Business as a class. It's actually pretty much my strongest and my favorite class. But I definitely think it does because we really do hit everything that pretty much need to know for DECA and the real world, to be honest. Just hitting different parts of human resources, marketing. Now we just did a whole finance and accounting unit. There's so many little things that we did that if you just put it all together, once I took this IB test in April, it really showed wow, I really did take different parts of the business program and really put it all into one. And I would say it really works.
It actually does what we're really hoping it does, which was give you a little taste of everything that's involved in a business enterprise, so that you, when you have to, will be able to make a choice later on as to where you want to specialize in, I assume. So, you feel comfortable with the coursework too, James?
100%. Obviously, it was a big transition at first, but personally, I've never had Mr. English, but my teacher, Mr. Manalix, has been great in helping me and Savesh and all the other kids in the IB program kind of understand this. It's like a really foreign concept because you're being held to an international standard, which it's a lot of work, but it's going to be really benefiting in the long run. And not even in the long run, because you can see right here that the command terms you learn and all the different processes of business, they're really applicable to everything that goes on in DECA, and it's going to prepare you really well for the real business world.
Clearly, you guys are not afraid of work. So, if you're going to take on this challenge, it is a lot of work, but it's worthwhile,
Yes, yeah, exactly.
and it's doable.
Of course.
It is. Shivesh, what do you think?
With IB Business and the whole interbaccalaureate program itself, It's a rigorous course, we all know that, but I feel that it is manageable and doable as long as you put in the work. So compared to last year, I took entrepreneurship, that's a regular standard business class. It came to East, it was still medium, fair, moderate, but with the transition over to IB Business, all the elements such as marketing, hands-off matrices, those just transition over to IB Business. And after the first month or so, just adjusting to the whole IB switch over, you get used to it, and as long as you put in that work, it prepares you completely. Now I'm successfully, flawlessly competing in DECA, going through my business classes, taking tests. Case studies roll over from entrepreneurship to the IB level, and they go on to the DECA level. Everything pretty much just sets you up and prepares you for the next step in life. So going from a regular student at the high school to participating in the IB program, now I'm at DECAs, I made nationals, and hopefully in the real world as a businessman, all those elements partially just roll over, and they help you prepare as long as you put that work in. I feel that everything's manageable.
I want to see the dog seat in the back.
No
When
problem.
you finally, this is
Few years, you might
a
be
few
buying
years,
one,
here we
right?
go. I know that. Some incredible idea. That's right. So, you're comfortable with it as well, the curriculum?
Yes, I
Prepares
think
you-
one of the best parts about this is it complements the IB and the coursework that we do in the business department here at the high school. It really gets them excited, it gets them practicing and wanting to do the work outside of class. And even in the classroom, there's, okay, how can this help me with the DECA competition, or how can it help, and it just rolls over, like Savesh was saying. So it really, it's the complement to those things, and it's a testament to these guys and what they've done in the classroom and the content and the coursework in there and with their success. It's, we're
You know what's
really happy.
interesting? We oftentimes look at competition as just winners and losers. But the way in which I hear you guys describe it, it's winners and winners. I mean, there are ways in which you can set it up so that everybody walks away feeling that they had an equal shot and they were able to do well. Is that the way DECA seems to be?
That's how it's set up. It's an all-inclusive model, just like we like to try here at the Rockville Center Schools, and bringing people in and just making them feel good. The students that we brought to the state competition, I think we came back, we had these 3 that had qualified, but I mean, everybody on that bus ride home it was like
Was
we had
flying
just won the
high.
Super Bowl. So they,
Wow.
flying high.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it was the excitement. It was the excitement. The event was over. They did it. They had, presented in front of the judge. A lot of, there's
Yeah.
some fear there about doing that, but they all did it with flying colors, and they were proud of themselves. And I was really happy to see that.
So, we're down to less than a minute, so I don't know any last words. I'm going to actually give it to the senior.
Yeah.
You're leaving us, so your last, I won't say your
No,
last
no.
words. But last opportunity here to just, talk a little bit about your experience and just encourage, talk a little bit about those who might be considering, what would you want them to remember or to use as motivation for moving into both the business IB and DECA?
So I would say my last final words, I guess, would be, do what you really have a passion for. And if you don't have a passion for it, you have to do what you want to do. Because I'll tell you this, personally, I actually did film first. I started doing film, and I realized it's not for me. I was like, oh, it's not for me. And I was going to do business, and I just switched. I was like, I kind of want more creative side. And I happened to do business, and I don't know. I haven't looked back since.
Never looked back.
And
Okay.
to be honest, I would not be in the school I'm going to now. I wouldn't be involved in DECA. I wouldn't have had these experiences with these people. But most importantly, I wouldn't have learned what I've pretty much learned from all of this, this experience, just
Right.
being here and being in this program, and just creating my path for my future.
Great. And you got friends for life.
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
I could just smell it. You guys are really connected. That's great to see. So I thank the 3 of you for being on. Peter,
Thank you.
oh, I don't know how to thank you enough.
Thank you.
Everything that we wanted to happen is happening, and you brought to life something really, that we've always thought was something very
I
special.
was here, yeah.
And clearly, from listening to you guys, it is. And so,
Absolutely. And they've
I
done
thank
it.
you all
It's really
very much for
amazing.
joining us today. Thank you very, all of you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. I told you at the beginning, this was going to be special. It truly is a special experience for our kids, and I'm very happy that we had an opportunity to share it with you today. So thanks again, and we will see you next time. Bye now.